Hey guys, sup, Ray here for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. When I film this, it is 5 in the morning, so if I seem a little bit off or a little bit exhausted, there you go, that's my reasoning why. The stage of teething is a wonderful stage, so I have to say. But, no, today's topic on Coffee Time, and typically we do this on a Monday with a tripod, but again, 5 in the morning, and not going to have everything set up accordingly, so I apologize, but, recently, this news article came out saying that Darkstrike Fighter is coming back as a reprint with an errata. And that actually piqued my interest because it's not the first card to get an errata. This is actually the second in recent history that affects a lot of banned cards. Now, could Konami actually be doing this for Japan to bring back Darkstrike Fighter and to bring back Magical Scientist and eventually bring back Bryonac? Could we see the stateside once per turn kind of effect on all cards? I mean, do you really think that's going to fix it? I mean, I like the idea of shortening the ban list. It's going to make it more fun. At least for me, it's going to. I didn't have a problem with Bryonac. I do when it comes to Mermails being able to abuse it. I do when Infernities loop it. I understand those things. I'm actually going to leave a link down in the description where you can actually find that article. And I'll leave it to the post so you can actually read that right now why I talk about this video. But Magical Scientist and Catapult Turtle was like a constant thing where you just keep paying, you keep sending them off, and your opponent takes more damage than you do. And you can like Ring of Destruction them for game if you wanted to. But it leads me to this question here that's been on my mind for the past couple of days, why A, we get ready for the ban list, and B, I start working on more Blue Eyes decks. Once per turn effects could literally change this game. Like, Red Eyes can go back to 3 tomorrow if it said once per turn, only once per turn. Like, regardless how many Red Eyes were there, change the ruling that says that Red Eyes can easily go back. Instead of like constantly looping it. There's like 20 cards I can't really think off the top of my head. Like, once per turn effects would benefit them to the point that they can actually come straight off the ban list and actually be legal again. I mean, can you imagine just having Darkstrike Fighter at 1, even though it's only once per turn effect? That is still something else. I mean, it's still a Ring of Destruction. It's still a giant threat. I mean, yeah, we have 101 now, suck his butt up and stuff, but I mean, Bryonac would be okay at 1 with that errata, and I've been saying that for God knows how long since I started the council. I've been saying that for a while. I mean, how many cards? Can you imagine if Dragon Ravine got a freaking errata that said once per turn? Instead of like playing the next one or bouncing it back with, say, Bryonac, per example, so you wouldn't get the 2. It would actually balance it out a little bit. There's a lot of cards that would benefit from a once per turn clause, instead of being able to use it twice kind of thing. And I'm extremely exhausted, so it's kind of hard to think about those cards, and that's what you guys are going to actually come in the comments and be able to describe this. Do you think it's right to say that a lot of banned cards, and like literally, like not those guys, but there you go, there's Darkstrike Fighter. Basically this guy here, and I'm going to just like hold the camera so you can actually read his effect, like him, Bryo, and Goyo could come back, and I think Trishuli is hiding over here. No, she's hiding somewhere else. But can you imagine if they were to come back literally tomorrow and say once per turn, only once for that turn, only once during the summon. If you bring it back to the extra deck, you can't use it that same turn effect. I mean, to have those clauses, I think Konami's actually sitting down and using their brain. Now, the only thing that is still an issue and always will be is, and it's going to lead into the ban list discussion, heavily lead into the ban list discussion, is the fact of the back row. We always are going to have a conflict between back row, where it's set 5 or set 3 and say go, and I see Konami trying a lot of things. And I do think that this once per turn rule change thing is going to come to the US at some point. We will see that. Maybe Bryonac will be in the Gold Series on, like, say it's an unannounced card. He was in Gold Series 5, and he was the best thing. I mean, if we see an errata, then we instantly know pretty much he's ready to come back. If not this format, then next. There's plenty of time to reprint them. But I mean, I'm not saying tomorrow he should come back. Forget it, because Mermel's got to be hit first. That's a whole different thing. But a once per turn effect would be, it's just going to fix so much stuff in this game without question that goes, I can endlessly loop. I mean, can you imagine if Infernity Archfiend said once per turn? Now, that's not a heavy hit to Infernities, but that basically says I can't bring out 2 of them, and the whole like Exceed deck just went down about like, it goes down 10 gauges compared to where it is. So pretty much, instead of being like high tier 2, low tier 1, you're probably looking at tier 2.5. And Synchro variant may actually rise up over that. I mean, it's just little things like that that constantly get the search when they come out would be changed for the better on the errata. I mean, it's such a simple change, but yet so complex to sit here and think, why didn't we do this in the first place? I mean, it should have been there in the first place. It's like Konami's going to sit here, take all the ban cards and say, you know what, here you go. You get them all back. Glow Up Bulb was always a once per turn thing, and that's one card, honestly, that I will mention on the ban list video that we're all doing together in a way. I definitely think is going to have a high chance to come back just to promote Sylvans. But if Konami's smarter, they'll just put Lone Fighter to 3, problem solved. If you really want to promote them. But I think this is going to lead the way into the future of how card design is handled. Where if a card is so busted, you just can't deal with it no more, we're going to rat the living crap out of it. I mean, can you imagine if all the Dragon Rulers said, you cannot use this card in junction with another Dragon Ruler card? Problem solved with the whole deck. You can't use Heretic, Dragon Ruler deck. You can't. Done. You can't use Heretic Blue Eyes. You can't use Heretic anything like a Heretic Blue Eyes. You can't use Dragon Ruler Blue Eyes. Little change like that would fix so much to the game already. And then there's still always going to be that one problem that we run into. Power creep, the back row situation, which is always going to be an issue, regardless how we want to look at it. And you could say, yeah, there's traps and all that, but you're still at a disadvantage. And there's still about 20 different OTKs that still deserve to be just put to the side and removed from the game. I mean, it's hard to imagine, no disrespect to anyone who works at Konami, but for them to sit down and say, we're going to start changing the game for the better. I mean, we're starting to see this in Japan, and we've seen it with our own TCG ban list. Things are starting to get slowly better in some sort of way. I still don't like the 5-set back row bullshit. I'm going to be straightforward with that. You'll hear me saying that a lot throughout the next couple coffee times until we get to the actual ban list. I just don't like big, heavy back row formats. If you want to play a deck like GBs that need it, you have access to Starlight Road. Huge Revolution's over. I don't feel there needs to be a lack of a heavy storm. And I don't like the idea of Giant Trunade because, well, there's no real counter to it. I'm not saying a counter fixes everything. It's saying, same logic with Darkstrike Fighter. There's 40 counters for them, but it doesn't really matter. But the once return clause makes it a lot less deadly. It's the same thing with Bryonac, where you still have the 15 card extra deck. It's not going to 20. As long as it don't go to 20, then it's not really an issue. But these guys will start becoming a staple and being able to do stuff. And if we get that in the TCG, I'd be a happy, happy man, without question. But if you guys like what you saw, or you have something to say, leave it in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a deck request, we're constantly taking them. But don't be surprised if we kind of just push it into April when we do the April content, because we want them to be relevant to you, because we care. Thank you guys for watching and the continued support. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. If you'd like to see more coffee time, then you already know what to do. And if you want to be part of coffee time, well, I'll leave a link to the video that actually tells you how you can be part of the ban list one. You could just leave your ban list predictions in this one down in the comments. And I'll catch you next video. Peace.